they failed miserably when they first started their business or whatever. And it took them. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Good afternoon, good afternoon. This is Black Conspiracy TV, BADTV, and this is D. Thank you, Sabrina, THC, Babe, and More Review. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm not on screen today. I look a horrible, horrible, horrible mess, and I did not get dressed this morning. I feel horrible. Uh, but I decided to come on live because I just wanted to discuss a few things, some stuff that I'm learning as I go along. I wanted to share it, because one of the things I've come to realize is that the more we share, the more we can help one another grow. And so I um, I've watched a lot of other YouTubers who are, bigger than I am by far. And they're doing like a wonderful job at, whether it's gaming or whether it's blogging or whatever they're doing, mukbangs. I follow everything ASMR. They're doing an excellent job. And so I watch people and I try to pay attention to, what they're doing. I try to learn from other people because I want to get better too. I'm not anywhere near where I need to be. And I can honestly say that since I started, reaching out and working with other people, I've grown a lot. And I am so grateful for all of the love that I've been shown because I've grown a lot. But I'm learning things as I go along. I noticed that over the past, probably the past, I say maybe 30 days, I've seen, well, if you look in the creator studio, it tells you how many people are following you. It tells you how many people who are, part of your family. And I've lost about 40 or 50 people in the past 28 days. And when I got to looking at that, I was like, what? What's going on? Because I'm very faithful. Hi, Big D and Chopper. Thanks for stopping by, guys. I appreciate you. Make sure you press that button, okay? I would greatly appreciate it. I noticed that, I lost like 40 or 50 people. And I know when I go in, hi, the boss life online. Thank you so much for stopping by. I noticed that I noticed that when I took a look at, because you can look at who you're subscribed to versus who you have, you know, that's following you. And when I took a look at it, it wasn't matching up because anytime I show love to you, in other words, I become a part of your family and you become a part of my family, I go watch your videos. I always do that simply because I want to show the love and I want to uplift everybody. Well, I started to realize that, some people were getting kicked out of my family. And so I got to looking at that because I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. Well, I started looking at other people's videos and they were, breaking it down. If you're not watching 2 minutes and 30 seconds to about 3 minutes and 30 seconds of someone else's videos, then you're basically not helping them. Because what happens when you go in and you look at it, like say you look at a minute and 30 seconds or even 2 minutes, it's not guaranteed that that's going to hold that person to you. And if you watch less than two videos, then basically what happens is when they start going through and cleaning out the system, cleaning out the cobwebs, basically, they'll knock that person off of your list. And you don't even understand why that person is no longer hanging out with you. And it's not, sometimes it's not because they're not hanging out with you, it's because the system decided to make them not hang out with you anymore. So I wanted to share that. I wanted to share that information that I've recently learned, like in the past couple of days, and I've heard at least four different content creators say the exact same thing. I wanted to share that information. Yes, it is, Sabrina. It is because when I don't know much about Facebook other than talking to my family members and friends and sharing videos and stuff like that. And I didn't know much about YouTube because even though I used to watch people on YouTube, I've never like had a channel of my own creating content and stuff like that. I just started doing that. Hello, Kareem. Thank you so much for stopping by. Kareem Smith, thank you so much for stopping by. Make sure you go ahead and press that button, please, if you would. I appreciate it. Um, I couldn't believe it because I was actually, well, basically, what I do is I pull up the list of people that I have who are part of my family, and then I match that list up with the people that I am personally subscribed to. And what I do is I go over to my home page and I look under subscribe. And when I look under subscribe, if it's not matching up, then I know I've lost some people. Plus, on top of it, when they do, like, if you notice periodically, you'll lose some of your family members. When you lose your family members, say for instance, you lose 10. Say for instance, you were at 1,029 and you wake up in the morning and it's only 1,009. They've taken away 20 of your people. So basically, what I've started doing is because I never, ever, ever go on someone's page and just go over there, sign up to be part of your family, and then leave. I never do that. I always watch videos. I always leave comments. I am a very true force when it comes to giving love to my family members because I want us all to win. You know what I'm saying? I think everybody that comes on here and makes at least a decent effort of trying to put out some content, get on these lives and talk to people and share love with folks, I think we should all get the same chance. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be that if we're on here acting a fool, showing out with each other and doing all of that stuff, those are the only people that get, the big slice of the pie. That's not right. Some people are coming on here doing gaming. There are some people that come on here doing their mukbangs. There's some people that come on doing like tutorials showing you how to cook and do DIY, do it yourself, arts and crafts and stuff like that. I follow it all. I don't ever just stick to one genre because I like a lot of different things. So I try to give everybody even, breath. I try. Plus, I have children. I may not be a gamer myself, but if someone's on here playing a game, I can make a better informed decision about games I want to purchase because I can watch them play the game. So that actually helps me. That's pretty cool. Plus, I used to be a gamer before I became an extremely busy mom. So, as I was saying, everyone, I'm not online today. I'm not showing my face because I'm a mess today. I'm not even gonna lie. It's just some things that I noticed and I wanted to share it because I feel like we all should have a chance to be successful. Each and every one of us is on here for a reason. And the only way we're going to be successful is if we pay it forward the right way. So when you go to someone's home, you're visiting them and you decide, you know what, I like their content. I'm going to stick around and hang out with this person because I like what they're doing. Make sure that you spend a little time with them. Get to know the person. Because if you just go on there and you just click on a couple of videos, and you don't spend any time, you don't leave any comments, and I mean not just thank you or I liked it, but like, a couple of sentences talking about what you saw, If you don't do these things, they have it set up in the system to filter out what looks like spam. And so I'm like, you put in all this hard work to try to get on board with other people, and then they go in and just sweep it out from under you. So I look at it like this: we all really need to like work together to keep our numbers up and stuff, because who's doing this just to be doing it? Nobody's coming in here, just coming on here wasting time. We all have something else that we could actually be doing, but we come to YouTube because either, and most of us actually enjoy YouTube. We love getting on here watching the drama, watching this, watching that, whatever it is we're watching, because we all watch different stuff. We get on here for a reason because we like YouTube. And we've all seen something about YouTube that made us decide, hey, I want my own channel and I want to do my own content. I want to do my own thing. So since we all decided that we all want to do our own different, stuff, we don't want to get on here and like you put in like hours, because let's face it, if you look at the number of hours that you put in to building your platform, building your channel up and making it something worthwhile, we're putting in time. There is absolutely no way that you can come in here, and there's no way that you can come in here and get everything that you need to get and do everything you need to do without putting in some time. In other words, you have to basically get out there and work with people to build yourself up so you can get to that point to where you can start seeing that, the reward at the, that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. We're all on here looking for the pot of gold. Something, I mean, you, of course, you come on here because you love what you're doing, you're having fun, you're enjoying spending time with others. Some of us don't really just have people to really just spend time with. So the time we spend, the time I spend with you guys is priceless to me. It's precious time to me, and I enjoy every bit of it. I love coming on here talking to you guys. I love coming on here showing love to you guys. I enjoy going to your channels, watching your foolishness and your shenanigans, or watching your approach to building business. I enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? I really enjoy it. So this is not something that I wouldn't already do. It's just I've decided, since I'm going to spend so much time here, let this be an investment for me as well, because I see everybody else getting on here making it. I want to make it too. But I don't want to waste my time, because my time is precious. And I feel like all of us, we all, our time is precious. So what I decided I would do is come on and share some of the things that I'm learning, because I don't want to see anyone wasting their time, and I don't want to see anyone fail. I want us all to win. I want us all to look back in 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, and say, "Ooh, we did it." Be riding around in our nice cars, or money in the bank, living large, or whatever. You know what your goal is. I know what my goal is. Some people know I'm a writer. I want my platform to open up some doors for the fact that I am a writer, and the fact that I need a platform in order to plug my books. I need a platform in order to draw other people in who like to read, or even who like to write. Also, singers, writers, artists, because we all kind of dabble around in the same area. So I want to help other people, and I want other people to help me. And what better way to do it than by having a YouTube channel where we can all come together and collab and build something special. But like I said, time is valuable. And to go online and spend so much time working to build yourself up, and then you look on your system and you had 1,000 and 50 people, and then you wake up and you down to 990. Which I'm not saying that happened to me, but I'm saying if it happened to somebody, you'd be like, what in the world? That would be heartbreaking. That would be heartbreaking to get to that point, and then you look and all of a sudden your hard work is gone. So one some other things that I've heard other people talking about is, you know like I said, building relationships. Make sure you're building a relationship. Make sure you're constantly, you like set a schedule, because once you get into bigger numbers, it's hard to go through and really just touch everybody, but it's something we have to do. We've got to touch people, because the people we don't communicate with and the people we don't touch, those are the people that they take from us. And so, and then sometimes you don't want to offend someone, because you don't want someone to come and show you all this love and lift you up and go out and tell everybody in the in the universe that you have the best channel and you're doing this, that, and that. And then they don't get that same kind of love from you, because it's, I know we don't mean to do it, but if you go out and you spend time lifting up someone else and they don't show you any kind of love, that's hurtful. It's hurtful. So we want to be careful about building bridges. We want to make connections with people and make sure that we show the proper love and support, to everyone, so nobody feels left out. I don't ever want anyone to feel like I don't care about them, because I care about it. And even people who don't care about me, I still care about them. That's just the type of person I am. That's the reason why sometimes I have to get away from folks and sit myself down, because I get to caring about people and they'll be looking, they don't give a rat's patootie about me, and my little old feelings will be hurt. My little old feelings will be hurt, and they ain't studying me. So, I'm trying to share all I can, because I know, we all working hard on here trying to make it. We're all working hard on here trying to survive. And it's hard to survive if we don't give ourselves the necessary skills we need to survive. So, another thing I just wanted to, I as I stated before. Oh, hi, Andrea. Hi, how are you, sweetie? Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm so thankful, because and that's another thing. I've even reached out to some people and let them know, you know I'm a member of your family, but I noticed that, I haven't seen you at my home lately. And I try to be understanding, because I realize people have lives. Some people are going to school, some people work and go to school and deal with families. You know what I'm saying? So it's really hard to stay on top of everything when you got so much going on. It is dang near impossible. And so when somebody looks at me and says, well, I came over and showed you some love, but I don't see anything, which that hasn't happened to me yet. Because if you come show me love, I go through my comments, every so often, and make sure that I answer to everybody, because I want to immediately show love to anyone who shows me love. Another thing that someone was talking about, another thing that a YouTuber was saying, make sure that you don't say, I'm coming from such and such channel. Because if you say those words in a live or in someone's comment section, the algorithm rhythm or the system is going to look at you as spam. So we don't want to say the S word. We don't want to say anything about any kind of subscriptions or anything like that. We don't want to say anything about and I don't know, this video might get taken down because I'm saying some stuff, but it's got to be said. We don't want to say anything about the S word. We don't want to say anything like I got you, stuff like that. We don't want to say anything like that. Basically, when we got time, when we have time, we want to go over to the creative studio. We want to look at those videos that show us how to create our lives and the stuff that we need to do so that our videos will be accepted and there won't be any problem, our uploads and our video, our lives. Because the reality is, it doesn't make any sense to sit on a live for 3 and 4 hours, 1 and 2 hours, even 30 minutes, if they're not going to give you credit for it. That doesn't make any sense. And the only way that we can keep ourselves in the right place is by following the rules. And guess what? I'm a person who loves to write, but sometimes I have to force myself to read. It's not that I can't read, it's just you get so much stuff going on in your head that you really just don't have time to, or you really just don't feel like it. So I understand it's not always easy to just sit down and read. The videos are a little bit easier to watch, in the creator studio, because you got two people sitting there showing you step by step. That's a little bit easier to deal with, by watching the videos. But I encourage everyone, make sure, for sure, that you're not saying these words that will cause, because the reality is, if we're saying these words, it's going to hurt our videos and it's also going to hurt the other person. So we don't want to do that. There's no sense in that. We all are trying to make it. We're all trying to build up our platforms. We're all trying to grow. We're all trying to get to the other side of the rainbow to get that pot of gold. And we can't get that pot of gold if we don't follow the rules. It's there. That pot of gold is waiting on us. We just have to get over there and get it. um, and I just want to say thank you for any person who takes their time from their day, from the work that you're doing on your channel, to come and visit me. Thank you so much, because you don't have to do it. That's the thing. You don't have to do it. You could be doing any number of things, but you decided to come over here and bless me. And I thank you for that, because really and truthfully, that is so awesome when people take away from their time and just spend a little bit of time with me. Thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you. Like I said, I know you don't have to be here. And so the very fact that you chose to be here, I appreciate it. Some of the other things that I've learned, and like I was up last night in people's lives. I was also up last night listening to people's videos. I was listening to some videos today, and I'm actually gonna get some lists together and kind of write down some, because everybody that I noticed that had information to share, they had like a top 10 list, like, and it was pretty consistent. Everybody was pretty much sharing the same information. And like I said, if this video gets taken down because I say share, uh, subscribe or something like that, I'm not worried about it. I'm actually trying to give you the information so that you will be able to take it and help somebody else with it, because that's the only way we're going to be able to grow, is if anytime we know something, we know how to help someone build, and we know how to help someone grow. If we give them the tools they need and they're able to, build something beautiful out of it, that's wonderful. That's great. We need to, I am very much into paying it forward. Today, I would say for the past like 3 hours, I have spent nothing but time streaming other people's content for about 3 hours straight. And I'm one of those type people, I'll pull up like 3 different accounts and just start streaming all of your videos. So make sure that you're putting your videos in playlists if you can. If you can put your videos in like designated playlists, like say for instance, you like to do mukbangs or mukbangs. I guess it's mukbangs, I'm not sure. Or say, for instance, you like to do hauls, like you'll go shopping or you get makeup or perfume or whatever. Say, for instance, you like to do unboxings. Whatever it is that you like to do, you might like to do multiple things. Like if you're doing, hi, Rochelle Brown, thank you so much for showing up. I appreciate you. Go ahead and make sure you press that button for me, please. Thank you. Whatever it is that you like to do, go ahead and put it in a playlist. And like if you're doing mukbangs and unboxings, go ahead and do me a big favor. Put your mukbangs in one playlist, your unboxing in another playlist, and when I have time, I'll grab a playlist and just play it. It can be my background while I'm writing a book or something, or while I'm cleaning the house or whatever I'm doing. And I'll just play it and listen to it. And then I'm going to always comment, even if I don't comment at the moment that I listen to the playlist or I watch the playlist because I'm actually busy doing something else. I will always go back to that particular playlist because I know which one I went through and finished, and I'll go through each one of them and listen to a little sample. Oh yeah, I remember what this is, and leave a comment and go ahead and give you, show you my big thumb. I'll always do that because we're part of a family, and I want to see you grow. I want to see you become bigger than what you are. I want to see you, reach whatever it is, whatever level it is that you're trying to reach. And I know that I'm if I'm giving you love and I'm showing you love and I'm uplifting you, I know you'll get there. And if we all have that same kind of attitude, if we all work together like that, if we all, stand shoulder to shoulder and lift each other up like that, we will all get to our destinations. Some people will get there quicker than others, depending on what type of channel you have or how much time you put into your channel. We will all get there, but it won't happen unless we support one another, unless we show love. And like I said, once again, I realize there are some words I'm throwing out there that I shouldn't, and I'm prepared if this. Yes, we are, and we need to stay connected. That's right. We have to stay connected. That's the reason why I'm doing this, because I went through, I keep up, I keep one tab open and I look at my account every day. And I've gone through on several different occasions and seen where they've taken away 20 people at a time, 20 of my family members at a time. And I know good and well that I went to that person's platform and showed them all kinds of love. So, I started learning from other YouTubers that even if you show love, there's a certain way you got to do it. If you're not doing it the right way, the system is set up to catch what looks like spam to them. So, another thing that I learned was that when you go to someone's page, if you watch a video or something like that, it's not a good idea. Hi, Jessica. Thank you so much for stopping by. Go ahead and press that button for me if you would, because I'd really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Right. And see, here's the deal. When you go to someone's account, if you press on a video, it should be a video that's going to give you at least 2 minutes, 30 seconds to 3 minutes and 30 seconds of content. Because what happens if you're someone brand new to their account and you only watch 20 seconds or a minute or something like that, the system itself may recognize you as spam. Even though you're showing that person love, even though you watched, their video might be 3 minutes and 30 seconds and you watch half of it, the system may decide that you are spam. So what I've heard since last night up until this morning, if you go to someone's account, go ahead and try to watch at least 2 minutes and 30 seconds to 3 minutes and 30 seconds so that they can get the full credit for you watching that video. And when you watch it, you don't want to click on the video, press play, press the little buttons, you don't want to select the little button saying that you're part of their family. You don't want to select the little button that says that you like what they're doing. You don't want to do that. You want to watch some of it, make a comment first. Then go ahead and show that you appreciate what they're doing by giving them your big thumb. And then move on over and go ahead and sign up to be part of their family. Right. You want to leave the comment, but you want to leave the comment before you do all the other stuff. You want to watch a little bit of it, leave a comment, a genuine comment based on what you're watching. Like, say for instance, somebody's eating shrimp and fries. I'll go on there, and this is true. This is true. When I go on there, I'll be like, "Oh, those that shrimp and them fries look good to me. Oh, I'm hungry." Something like that. That's genuine. That's genuine, unless you don't like shrimp. But you go in and make a comment based on what the video is about. And it doesn't have to be a paragraph. It just needs to be at least a sentence, maybe two if you have time. But it needs to be something about the video. And then after you make the comment, you go ahead and send that comment, then move ahead on over and press that thumb, press on the thumb then. And then go ahead and select the subscription button. Like I said, this video might get taken down because I'm sharing exactly the things that I've learned with from others. And basically what I'm sharing is how to give people the real credit for the time that you spend on their channel. And then once you watch that video for 2 minutes and 30 seconds to 3 minutes and 30 seconds, then you want to go ahead and watch one more. At least do two of them. At least do two. Because and I've seen that. I've watched someone's videos that was like 5 minutes long. And then, watched the whole thing. And then the next day went back and that person was gone, even though they came over and joined my family. They were gone. See, the system is looking at, are you genuinely spending time with these people, or are you just, you know, they know what's going on. They know what's going on, but there are so many millions of people online working together, they can't just target everybody. Right. And that's what I do. I'll put if I click on a playlist and it's a playlist all about mukbang or all about cooking or all about do it yourself or just anything. If they have all of their videos in a playlist, I'll click the playlist and just let the playlist play, because you don't have to click anything if it's in a playlist. You just start the playlist, and once you start the playlist, it'll play itself all the way down to the end. That could be 5 hours, it could be 6 hours, it could be 2 hours, it could be 1 hour, depending on how long the videos are. And that way I'm showing love and support, and I'll go in and make comments according to whatever I listen to or watch. But while the playlist is playing, I can be doing other things. I can be washing dishes, washing clothes, cleaning up the house. I can be doing anything, but I'm still listening to the playlist. Or if I'm writing, I can, turn the volume down a little bit so I can focus on my writing, but still give them my love and my support, because I have things to do, but I still want to support those people who are part of my family. So, hi, Yvette. I'm so glad to see you. I hope you're doing well today. Once you come in, if you would do me a favor and please go ahead and hit that button for me, I'd greatly appreciate it. And just so you guys know, I don't share. Oh, thank you so much, Yvette. I certainly appreciate you. I appreciate every person who takes the time to come in and visit with me, because I know you guys have so many other things that you could be doing, but you chose to visit me. So I feel honored and privileged. I feel like I'm somebody. But um, just so you know, if you saw my thumbnail, on the thumbnail, I showed a list, my catalog of books. And that catalog of books is the catalog of the 9 romance novels that I've written, or novellas. I do novellas. I don't do novels because I have a short attention span. My 9 novellas that I've already written, and I want to say 4 or 5 more novellas that I have in editing right now. Um, I don't share a lot of my work outside of YouTube on YouTube because I actually watched an individual post about his book, and he was expecting to get some support from his viewers, and it turned into a big mess. Thank you so much, Rochelle. I sure do appreciate that. You know what? All of you guys are special to me. You're all my babies. I love every one of you because y'all are so sweet to even think about supporting little old me. um, when I saw this gentleman he really got torn down. And I was surprised because I thought, we would be more loving and understanding, giving someone an opportunity. I could understand everybody's arguments from all different sides. People felt like because his book wasn't properly edited, some people kind of got on him about that. And I understand that, but the way it went down, it was really horrifying. And I was just like, yeah, I'm not gonna share my stuff on YouTube because I know my first 10 books they weren't the best, but even though they weren't my best, a lot of the people, pretty much everybody who's read my book, I even had one lady, said, she said, sometimes I cannot stand your language in this book. She said, but I have to read it because the storyline is good. And that was so funny to me because she told me she didn't like what I was doing, but she liked it so much she had to read all of my books. That almost, I mean, you know how when somebody tell you something is wrong and it kind of hurts your feelings, but then they say something sweet and make it all better. That's how I felt. She hurt my feelings a lot, but then she made it all better. So I was good. I was good. That just encouraged me to spend more time. Yes, ma'am. All of my novellas are on Amazon. My um I have a pen name, and I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm just gonna give you a disclosure. My pen name is Ileana Binoche. I have one book that's in my name, my actual name, which is Andrea Tumblin. Now, I don't mind saying my name online because I don't have anything to hide. Um, I have a book that's written that tells you how to write, and it's a very, very, very um organic and simple how-to book. I'm not an English professor. I am an everyday average person. I worked in corporate America up until about almost 3 years ago when I my disability start taking over my life. Up until then, I have a college education, and I'm very well spoken, but when it comes to writing, I was telling someone earlier today, what you write and what you type versus how it sounds when you read it out loud are two completely different things at times. And so I was encouraging someone. Someone sent me a message on a writing platform that I'm a part of, and she was asking me to read her book and asking me if I would give her feedback. And I always do that. I hold competitions, I read other people's books, I give them feedback, I give them constructive criticism to help build their brand and help them become more effective writers. Um, and when we do competitions, I profile their books on my page so that they can get some exposure. Um, I'm a romance writer, and my romance it ranges from sweet and spicy to very, very hot. So The reason I'm giving you this little, hint is because some of, especially my first 10 books, they're a little tough. Yes. I have a great deal of love and passion in me. And when I write, I go to a whole nother place, and my characters can be a lot. They can be a little bit much at times. But I like to let people know, um, if you're a very sensitive person and you don't like sexy, saucy stuff, you may not want to read all of my books. And I can tell you which ones you don't want to read for sure. I have one trilogy called The Dividing Line that I'm actually trying to work with a an agent to get it, looked at by some producers, because I think with the current climate that we have, in the United States, with all of this social issues with racism and stuff like that, my book is very, very, very relevant to today, and it would make a very interesting story. But it's something I'm working on, and we can all keep our fingers crossed, because I'd love to become that person who wrote that story that becomes a big blockbuster. I would just be ecstatic. But yeah, I write my books are very relevant to what's going on today. They're very relevant to what's going on today, what we're dealing with today, and just love relationships in general. As I was saying, with my writing, I support other writers, I support other artists. I am huge. Okay, all right. You said, by the way, the humming ASMR was great on my way home on the bus from work today. Good, wonderful, wonderful. My After I completed it, thank you so much, Yvette. I appreciate that. After I completed editing it and putting it together, I always, go through and listen to everything, make sure it sounds good. My baby and my grandbaby, I call her my baby because she looks like my oldest, even though she's my second daughter's child. She looks like my oldest daughter and myself. And we were sitting here listening to it, and she fell asleep. She just passed smooth out, and I was right behind her, but I caught myself. I'm not singing my own praises, but it really was very soothing. And I put it on a loop when she comes over so she can listen to it and relax. But yeah, and the reason I did that is because someone told me I probably have a good ASMR voice. So I decided I would go ahead and try some things. I got some other stuff that's coming up. You guys will see it soon. Um, I've always, my whole life, I've been a jack of all trades, and how do they say, a jack of all trades and a master of none. Exactly. And that one of the things that I thank the Lord for the most is working as a manager. I had to learn how to meet people on their level. Now, of course, there are some levels you can't go to, and it's nothing personal. It's just you have to always maintain your professionalism. But in order to get through to people, you have to be able to meet them on their level sometimes. Sometimes, because one of the biggest problems that a lot of people have is the inability to reach someone. You might, if we, okay, my daughter worked as an assistant manager under me when I worked as a general manager for a restaurant. And ideally, that's not a good relationship because, of the whole nepotism factor. But I was raised in such a different era. You were expected to do your work. It didn't matter who you were working with. It didn't matter who you know. You were expected to go in and do your best and work as if you were giving honor to God. And so when my daughter was working for me, I told her, I said, I'm not going to show you any favoritism. I said, you need to come in here and you need to represent. You need to do your job. I don't want to see no fooling around because you do not want me to embarrass you in front of these people because that's exactly what I will do. My daughter was, I mean, she was so amazing. She really surprised me because she was able. That's correct, Miss Rochelle. That is so correct. Just because you can read, it doesn't mean that you can comprehend what you're reading. And just because you're okay, some people are good at talking to people, but not they're not good at listening to other people and understanding where that person is coming from. And those two really go hand in hand. What I was about to say about my daughter, one of the things that she taught me, my daughter, my child taught me, is that sometimes you have to kind of step off your high horse a little bit and meet people halfway because you got to be able to reach a person or in order to get them to do what you need them to do. It doesn't mean that you step out of your role as their boss, but it means that you have to find some commonality so that you can reach them. And I had to learn that with writing. I had to learn that with as a manager. I even had to learn that with my children. Now, if you let my kids tell you, we have these conversations frequently. I was a tyrant. Uh, as they were growing up, I was like, you do what I tell you to do, period. But I had to explain to them in order for us to all be on the same page, I had to rule with an iron fist. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it because the world is not nice to children. And if you guys didn't fear me, not fear like I'd kill you, fear, but love fear me like you would love fear God. If you didn't fear and respect me, you would go out there and do something that would be detrimental to yourself. And by the grace of God, that love fear relationship, you know what I'm saying? That love fear relationship kept the kids out of trouble. And now, of course, when they were growing up, they couldn't understand it, but now they understand it. And now, especially now that there's the older ones are starting to have their own kids, they're coming back to me saying, Mom, I see what you were talking about now. Even my 17-year-old son, that kid is very, very deep. He'll come to me and he's like, you know what, Mom, I used to think that you were just telling us stuff, but now I see what you're talking about. He said, I look around me and these people just be making all these mistakes, and I just don't want to make their mistakes. But yeah, writing and my life's experiences being a manager and just everything I do, I try to meet people on their level to a certain degree. My genuine concern is to be of help to someone. I never look at what people can do for me first. I always look at what can I do for someone else. And I've always been like that because I genuinely want to see other people make it. This world is it's pretty stressful. You get out here, you work hard, and sometimes you don't accomplish nearly anywhere near the things that you really need to accomplish. And it helps when somebody shows you love and support. It really helps. And that's the reason why I came on today. I had honestly, I had no intention of coming on today because I have so much editing I should be doing. I keep putting off the editing work, and it's not because I don't want to do it, it's because it takes a lot out of me. But I'm going to have to buckle down. I've got someone's taxes I need to get done before today is over with. I think today is the deadline. I'm not sure. I think it is. I've got to get their taxes done before midnight tonight. So I have a few things that I need to do. But when I was learning, some of the things I was learning from other people, I felt it pertinent to come online and, disseminate the information out because it helps. There's someone that I know I talked to a young lady earlier who's a smaller YouTuber. She's struggling, she's trying to make it, and she's kind of figuring it all out a little bit at a time, and she's in a different section from what the section that we're in. And many of us are over here in this positive platform where everybody's trying to help each other, and then you've got some people in other sections in kind of like another genre, if you will, of YouTube, and they may not be getting all the help that they need to really bloom and blossom and grow like they need to. And so that's the reason why I wanted to come on, do this live, share this information, and then I plan on actually going over and letting her know, hey, I did a live. You might want to go watch it, because guess what? I'm giving away some pearls of wisdom, some things that I've learned from other content creators who are on different channels, who do completely different things, who have larger, families than I do, and who just felt like getting online and just saying, look, guys, this is what you need to do so that you can really tap into what it is you're trying to tap into on YouTube. And I want to share that with her. And I want to also, show that love to others, because I want to see people growing. I don't want nobody should get on here and waste their time and their energy and walk away from it and say, man, I wasted all those hours uploading videos, trying to do content, trying to do this, trying to do that, and nothing good came of it. One lady, I was watching one video she had, and she had been online for 88 days, and she was doing really, really well. And she was also sharing and telling us what it is you need to do. And you don't have to spend a whole lot of money to get a start. If you only just have your laptop or your cell phone, and it's not a high dollar phone, use what you got and build your platform. You can do it. Okay, Miss Brown, I see you say your youngest son, who is 27, who is like a sponge, he reading C.L. Lewis, became a Christian writer. My son was reading his novel for children at the age. Oh yeah, and that's awesome. That is awesome. Reading is probably one of the best things that we can do for ourselves. And not just read in one genre. Read everything that you can stomach to read it. Because our vocabulary is limited to the things that we already know. So if nobody ever says a word to you and you don't read it yourself, you'll probably never know what that word is, and you'll never get the benefit of using that word. But if you read other people's writings, people bring their own personal knowledge and experience into their writing. So you learn from what somebody else has learned, especially if they're an older person. They bring years of knowledge and experience into their writing. You get the benefit of learning from those years of writing and experience for free. Basically for free, because if you're reading their work, you might be reading the work, but you're gaining so much more. And so I'm a huge advocate on just education in general. Educate yourself, learn about the planet that we're on, learn about the people, learn about the environments, learn about, your city and your state and your country. Learn. As long as God give you breath to learn, you should be learning all you can. What you can't see with your own two eyes in person, you can read about in books. When I was 5 years old, I remember looking at, excuse me, I remember looking at the Encyclopedia Britannica, and I remember reading those National Geographic magazines. And I saw pictures of Ireland when I was 5 years old. And I don't mind sharing that was 38 years ago. I remember thinking to myself that I wanted to go to Ireland at 5. I was a whole 5 years old, and I wanted to go to Ireland because I read it in a book, because I saw the pictures in that National Geographic magazine. All I could see was all that green, and it just called my name. Even to this day, if I'm feeling particularly just bummed out, all I have to do is get in my vehicle, get in my SUV, just decide to go down any road, highway, street, and just look at the natural scenery around me, the green leaves and the trees and the flowers and the birds flying, the bees buzzing. Just look at nature, feel the air blowing on my face, and I am rejuvenated. I'm rejuvenated. It's something about nature that does something to me. When I saw all that green in Ireland, I wanted to go to Ireland, and I am 43 years old, and I still want to go to Ireland. And that's one of the things that's on my bucket list. I plan to go to Ireland one day. I don't care what I have to do to get there. Within reason. I'm not gonna sell my soul or my body. That's one of the promises I made myself. I will not sell my soul or my body to get what I want. But I will try to do, everything else within reason to get what I want. It's like, y'all have to forgive me. Sometimes I will say the corniest, kookiest things because that's just how I am. I'm a corny, kooky person. I can't help myself. I will not sell my soul or my body by the grace of God to get what I want. But yeah, I'm huge. I'm really big on reading. I'm really big on empowering myself, and I'm really big on helping and trying to lift up other people. One of the things I've learned over the years, the more that you give, the more you most definitely will receive. That is the truth. Of course, we want to be careful with how we give because there are some things we're really not meant to give. And I'm going to talk about that one day. I'm going to talk about um, I'll probably this gonna be on another platform. I'm sure it's gonna be. I mean, not platform. It's gonna be on another one of my other segments. I do have 9 segments, and it's probably gonna be on one of my other segments. It'll probably be under the same segment where I was talking about. It'll either be under the segment where I was talking about tornadoes, or it will be under the segment where I was talking about stepping into your blessings. One of those two um, matters. It may be under matters of the heart. I like to break things down and give people a clear understanding because we all understand things on different levels. And what means one thing for me may mean something else for someone else. And so I try to break things down on a level where anybody can understand it and apply what I've said to their lives. Because the reality is that, sometimes a person can say something or write something that we may never ever see. But when we're going through some of our most challenging moments in our lives, what they write down or say may be the very thing that helps us get through something that is really hurtful to us. And so that's the reason why when these messages come to me, I share them because I believe God gave the message to me first to tell me, hey, you need to open your eyes and you need to do this, that, or that. And then I share it with others because I want someone else to be blessed by that message as well. Okay, Rochelle, I see you said, yeah, C.L. Lewis, he wrote the Chronicle of Narnia. It is a series of 8 books for children, and our pastor was using C.L. Lewis as an example because he was a non-believer of God, and my son who whispered to me. Huh. You know what? And it's amazing. I was watching a movie about this guy who was trying to prove that God didn't exist. I was watching a movie on Netflix, and this guy was trying to prove that God didn't exist. And I want to say he was a reporter. And I mean, he was determined to prove that God didn't exist. Let me tell you, by the time he got through doing all of his research, because he was an atheist, by the time he got to, you saw it, Yvette, it was a good movie, wasn't it? It was a real good movie. It was one of those movies that just grabbed you by the heart because you were like, oh my word. This dude was, yes, he was a reporter. He was a stone cold atheist. He didn't want to hear that mess. If you start talking about God, he would look at you like you were crazy. It was a good movie. He would look at you like you done lost your mind. But while he was trying to disprove it, he kept seeing so many things that firmed it up, that backed it up and strengthened the truth. And at the end of his journey, he was 100% convicted. He was convinced, he was convicted, and he was converted. Yes, he did. Yes, ma'am, Miss Yvette. He became a believer at the end because and see, that's the thing. I've heard several pastors talking about this, and it's true. Of all the of all the religious books, it is it is the only book that can be proven by actual historical events. It is the only book that can be proven, the only religious book, I'm going to make that clear, that can be proven by actual historical events that line up with different things that happen in the Bible. You said to me who C.S. Lewis was. Now we are in the Christian bookstore a while back, and at that time he was. Okay. You're saying that your son was asking you to buy the Christian books, and several years after that they made the Chronicles of Narnia. Yeah, I remember those books from when I was a kid. My mom, she was an avid reader, and I want to say that she had the set. I really believe she did. She was an avid reader, and right. And she my that I would honestly say that the person who introduced me to a love for reading was my mother. My mother would get novels, the big thick novels, and she would just curl up and read those books. And I would see her reading those books, and I wanted to read that book. I didn't know what she was reading. I didn't know what it was about, but I wanted to read it. And one day she handed me a big thick novel. I guess she didn't think I was going to read it. My sister and I, we climbed on the bed and we took turns reading that book back and forth. And at first, one of us would read a few chapters and then the other one would read a few chapters. And it was so funny because we got so sick and tired of doing that, we started reading them all together at the same time because there was only one book, but there was two of us and we wanted to read the book. And so my mother's love for reading and her love for big, thick novels really, truly inspired me to read. When I was, I want to say when I was like 11 or 12, 12 or 13, somewhere around in there, I wrote all the time. I was always writing. I actually completed 4 hand printed complete novels when I was 13 years old. And to tell you what happened to those novels, where they went to, I couldn't even begin to tell you. I remember the premise for one of the books, but it's so and it's so crazy because the premise for one of the books that I wrote when I was 13 years old, a little country girl in the country. Do you know that they have made several movies based on that premise alone? The premise of the book was a young it was a young French guy who was here in the United States. He was actually came to the United States because he had some kind of serious illness and his family was very wealthy. They brought him to the United States so that he could receive treatment. And a girl whose mom worked for the family becomes his friend and helps him get through the illness that he was going through until he dies. There have been so many books or movies that have had that same kind of like feel that I have seen written or produced in the past 10 years, and I could just smack myself for not keeping up with those books and having them published, but I was 13. Oh, okay, you said after church was over, your youngest son, who was about 9 or 10, the time will tell your pastor that he knew. He said he knew who C.L. Lewis was, okay? All right. But yeah, when I tell you, we are in such a different time now, because there are so many people who have lived and died who never had an opportunity to fulfill their purpose or their talents because it just wasn't given to them. Hi, Finley River Kennels, Mr. Jeff Lackey, how are you? Thank you so much for stopping by. If you would press that button, I would greatly appreciate it, sir. Thank you so much for visiting my home. There are so many people who have left here, this earth, living, and didn't get a chance to fulfill their purpose. And there's so many of us who are actually, thank you, Jeff. I sure do appreciate you. There are so many of us who we get to come on YouTube. We're getting to create our own channels. We're like, I'm a writer. I've tapped into so many different writing streams, and I've actually had books published since May of last year. And by the grace of God, the sure grace of God, I have a small income stream from those books. I don't promote them as much as I should, which I'm working on that. I'm working on that. It's one me. I'm trying to get another person on my team, and that's what I'm some of the things that I'm kind of building up and working on while I'm here on YouTube. But we are so like, oh yeah, he does have some beautiful, beautiful puppies. And I remember one day when I was watching some of his videos, and I was thinking about the book, about the one where the red fern grows. Does anybody remember that book? I Yes, that was required reading when I was a teenager. That was required reading. When I saw his puppies, I immediately thought of that book. Yes, I saw Old Yeller too. Man, I'm a dog person, so I love puppies. My son, he has a half pit, not yeah, half pit, half Rottweiler. And I told him, I said, all right now, you need to make sure you get her trained, because those are two very intense breeds. They require a lot of care and training so that she doesn't become a mean dog. You want her to be respectful, and you don't want her tearing up your furniture and your house, because they like to munch on things. And I said, and don't be over there whooping her. I said, train her and teach her. I said, you got to understand, a puppy is just like a little kid. They're just like a little kid, honestly. And so he is so in love with that little puppy. Oh, you have three of that? Okay. I imagine once my children are gone, I'll probably get a sidekick. I believe I will, because I don't know. I grew up in a big family. I raised a big family, and the idea of being by myself, I'm just not for that. I'm not even gonna lie. So I think I'll end up with a sidekick eventually. Eventually. Um, yeah, I told my mom and dad, they have a little chihuahua. My dad bought the first chihuahua for my mom, and Peanut took to him, and she just fell in love with my dad and to heck with everybody else. And she passed away, God bless her. And then they had another little puppy. No, the little puppy they have now. And she she is like she loves everybody. She just loves everybody. So with my family, my whole family is puppy crazy. We love puppies. My youngest daughter, she's 14 years old and she loves cats. I don't have anything against cats. I love little kittens, but I just don't deal well with cats, big cats. I just grown cats. I just don't deal well with them. And they don't deal well with me because they sit and look at you like they want to talk bad to you. Like, what are you doing? I have a thing about cats. It's like, why are you looking at me like that? I feed you, I buy you toys. Can't you show me some love? And then they'll just look at you kind of crazy, like, like you're their slave or something. I don't know. To me, cats are too, I don't know. I don't know. It's something about them. I think after I watched Cat Eye when I was a kid, I've been messed up ever since. But yeah, like I said, guys, I just came on here to share a little bit of love, share a little bit of what I've learned because I believe in and I like I said, I know sharing is a bad word. But but hi Drama Club. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hi Edward Smart. Thank you so much for stopping by. You love cats. It's like I said, I love kittens. I love babies. But I have a thing about grown cats because they look at you with an attitude. I'm like, you can't come in here and sit down and eat and live a rent-free life and then look at me like you got an attitude. I didn't do it. If y'all would go ahead and go ahead and press that button for me, I would greatly appreciate it. I don't have anything against any animal. I grew up in the country. My dad and my mom and dad taught us a very healthy love and respect for nature and all of God's creatures. So I don't have anything against any animal. But cats, they look at you like they got an attitude. just, I'm just like, don't look at me like that. I didn't do it to you. Okay. I remember you were telling me about your situation with your family. One thing I will say, Rochelle, at least you have you because dogs are really, I'm not saying that cats are not loving. I know cats can be very loving and that purring. If I could get that purring, if I could record a cat purring, I would put that on ASMR because some people might find that very soothing. But you said you have an English Bulldog Terrier and you found he found a dog on Craigslist. Okay, so you have some good sidekicks. That's good though. I mean, that's one thing I will say. Animals will give you I don't know, it's like they provide comfort to you. They give you a sense of joy, especially if you're by yourself. I still have kids at home. So, I'm not comparing kids to animals. Don't get me wrong. But love is love. Wherever you get your love from, love is love. And when like right now, both of my kids are gone. They're not even studying me. They're in the wind. They my 17-year-old, he's at his brother's house. They're over there playing video games, I'm sure, and talking probably all kinds of smack. And then my 14-year-old daughter, she's over at my sister's house with her 15-year-old daughter. So they're not thinking about me. So if I had a little puppy in here, I'd have somebody that would give me some love, some companionship. That's right, Miss Yvette. Somebody that'll love me just for me. But because I right now I'm just not in a position physically where I can handle a puppy. I'm just not because trying to chase after a puppy. My gait is not steady, and I'm definitely not wanting to fall because the years of health experience that I have in healthcare, the worst thing you can do when you have health issues is to fall and break a hip or something, break any bone, because it just seems to like it does something to your health. And so far, last this time last year, there is no way I could have gotten on anybody's live. I couldn't have. I don't even think I was able to do any videos this time last year. I was very, very ill. Um, I was in and out of the hospital. So to be on here now, this is a blessing for me. That's the reason why I say I love you guys. You have no idea. I love you. Um, oh man, I couldn't. It wasn't that I didn't have. I've always been blessed with the gift of gab, but I was experiencing so much pain, I couldn't sit up or even focus long enough to try to put something like this together. And people don't understand, when you don't upload videos and you're not putting together content, it takes a lot out of you. And so there are some people I've noticed that when they go on their lives, they don't even bother to really just do a lot because they're dealing with their health issues. Oh, wow. Okay, okay. So you only have one dog, Rochelle. Hi, family at heart. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you would you go ahead and press that button for me, please? I would certainly appreciate that. Well, I didn't go on camera today because I am a hot mess. I'm just gonna be honest, guys. I'm a hot mess. I had no intention whatsoever of going on camera today. I wasn't going to do a live at all. But I kept seeing all of these videos talking about, some of the stuff that we can do to make our love and build our support up for one another. And I know I'm using some of the spooky words, but to get that message out, in order for me to go ahead and share what I learned, I had to just jump on live. And I was like, I'm not finna get dressed up. Thank you, hon. I said, I'm not finna get dressed up. I'm just gonna jump on because the time it takes for me to get dressed up to go on a live, by the time I get through getting dressed up, I will not go live because I'm in so much pain I won't be able to do anything. So I just came on. So y'all, please forgive me. Please forgive me for not showing my face. I'm here. I promise it's me. Please forgive me. Thank you so much, family and heart. I appreciate you. But and Edward, I see you have that big old kitty cat over there named Tiger, an 18-pound cat. That cat weighs as much as my grandbaby. That's ridiculous. But yeah, and I just lost my train of thought, y'all. Forgive me. That's what my kids say old age. It's not old age. I don't know what it is, but I just lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. I didn't even make any notes or anything today. I just wanted to come on and show some love, share what I know, and just reach out to my friends and family because and we're YouTube friends. We may not know each other in person, but we're building a network and we're building a family ship, by working with each other and being there for each other and uplifting each other. So, if that's not family, what is it? Even family, sometimes you don't like them. Sometimes your family make you mad and you don't like them and you don't want to be anywhere near them. But that doesn't change the fact that they're still your family. So As long as we're all on YouTube, we'll be a YouTube family. Okay. So you said you went live as you were getting dressed and then walked out the door to get a petty. Okay, see, that's what's up. I excuse me, guys. I keep trying to convince my daughter to do a YouTube channel. She is probably one of the funniest people you will ever meet. Everybody that meets her fall in love with her because she is so kooky. She has a she has a funny sense of humor. She doesn't meet a stranger, and she's just got a lot of charisma. And I told her she's at home. Actually she's raising her sister's child, um, my first grandchild, and her son, my second grandchild. And I told her, I said, honey, with your personality and some of these other people I've seen on here who are very successful, I said, you have what it takes to make it. You just have to go ahead, sign up for an account. Don't worry about cameras and all that stuff. Just work with what you have. Just work with what you have until you get to a point where you can do better. Miss Brown, you said me too. I was supposed to go live last night, but I just have okay. You just didn't have the energy and the concentration. Also, you're going in a little while, maybe. All right. Well, I'm gonna be looking. I'm gonna be looking. If I see you going live, I'm gonna be there. Several people will tell you I'll get off of my live or whatever I'm doing, and believe me, even if I'm busy and I can't just talk and interact, I will come and sit in your live and comment every so often because I want you to get your time. You worked, you deserved it. You got out there and you did what you needed to do to go live. I'm gonna support you. That's how I am. I'm gonna do it. That's right, family of heart. I told her, I said, honey, I said, she's the type of person she would just love the interaction. Believe me, getting on live and getting on online and just bouncing back and forth, talking to people. She's the type of person she loved that. She love it. I mean, when I tell you she loved to talk to people, honey, she has that personality. She just, I don't know. It's like I said, she doesn't meet a stranger. She can work with anybody. She can talk to anybody. She's just got that go get 'em attitude. And since she had her son last year, and she took on the responsibility of her sister's daughter, who was also born early last year, she has been so overwhelmed and it's hard for her to work with two babies at home. And so I told her, I said, honey, I said, build you a platform. Right, Miss Brown. And I understand that. And that's where I am. Sometimes I am so low energy. Yesterday I was thinking to myself, man, I should be on live right now, but I just didn't feel like it. I just didn't have the energy to do it. Even though I wanted to do it, I just didn't have the energy to. Matter of fact, my daughter came over here. She had to bring me some food because I was so wrung out. I just couldn't I couldn't do much. And that's one of the things that I really want to work on once I start going to physical therapy again. I want to start using my platform as an encouraging tool for me because sometimes when you see yourself going through something, it makes you it puts you in a state of mind to hold yourself more accountable. I need to lose some weight. I want to travel, in 2020, and there's a lot of things that I want to do. And it's all centered around me getting my health back, getting my strength back. And going on live, you guys don't know. I honestly, I turned into a hermit basically after I became ill and start dealing with so many health issues. It started affecting it started causing me to have mental issues as well, because the stress of being sick and not being able to get up and grind and hustle and go to work and make that money and do what I was used to doing. It took a hard toll on me. So even though I was going through so much, I kept praying. I started writing, which really saved my life. Writing saved my life because it gave me a platform to speak my opinion and get everything off my chest. And literally, every time I finish a book, I feel better every day. I feel stronger every day. Now that I've started, I started working on videos and sharing with the videos that I was uploading. It made me feel stronger every day. Now that I've started doing lives, I'm going to tell you, the first live that I did, that next morning, it seemed like I was light as a feather. I don't know what it is. I don't know what happened, but just reaching out, talking to other people, and just getting out of my own head for a change. It was a blessing to me. That's the reason why I keep saying you guys are a blessing to me, because it helped me to, because I had really just shielded myself in. I grew up and had always been the person who was taking care of other people. And when I became the person who someone needed to take care of, that was very uncomfortable for me. That was so uncomfortable for me. I didn't know how to deal with it. And see, my son and my oldest son and his girlfriend, they're planning on getting married. I think they're gonna go to London. I don't think it's gonna be their like honeymoon or anything, but they're planning a trip to go to London. And they asked me if I wanted to go, and I was like, "Are you playing with me?" Of course I want to go. I've been wanting to go to England for the longest. Yes, I will go with you. I even pay my own way. But my son he knows I love to travel. I love to travel. So he asked me if I wanted to go. I said, "Yeah, I want to go." I said I'm gonna find me a friend to be my tour guide. He said, "Nope, you staying at home." I said, "Why can't I have a friend? Somebody who will spend time with me while you spending time with your girl." He said, "No, mama, no." I always mess with my kids and tell them that I'm gonna give me a little old young man to take care of me and stuff like that. I tell my boys that, and they just be like, I'm gonna lock you. I'm gonna lock you up." I say, "You can't lock me up." They just want me to be just this humble little grandma staying at home, never going anywhere, doing anything. Thank you, family of heart. Thank you so much. Right, right. Honestly, I think right, family of heart. You know what? And see, that's the thing. But see, I did crawl into a hole for a minute. And I'm not even gonna lie. That's one thing about me. I'm a very honest person. For a minute, I crawled into a hole and I hid myself. And the reason I did that is because this was so new to me. I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know how to deal with being so sick. I did not know how to deal with being so sick. I've never in my life. One other time I got really sick, but I got strong like really fast. But this time it took me out for literally 2 years. 2 years. Not being able to work, not being able to do anything. I've never experienced that. And that was scary to me. It was so scary to me. I didn't know what to do. And then I'm 4'11". I'm a thick girl, have pretty much always been a thick girl my whole life, but I feel like I'm the cutest thing God ever created. Can't nobody tell me otherwise. I've always thought that to myself. Call it self-esteem, call it whatever you will. But I've always had this big personality in this little bitty body. And so something snapped. There was a disconnect when I got really sick because I didn't even feel like myself anymore. I really did not, I didn't even know who I was anymore. And that was the hardest part of it all. I didn't know who I was. I couldn't connect with the person who I'd become. And when I couldn't connect with the person who I'd become, I felt lost. And when I started feeling lost, I started hiding myself because my whole life I've always helped people. When I became ill, I started seeing some things about people that was scary to me. I was like, wait a minute, whoa, wait a minute, you are not who I thought you were. And so by me hiding myself, it was basically like I was protecting myself. I put a shield of protection up around me and I stayed away from people. And I'm gonna tell you what I did. I watched a lot of stuff that would make me laugh. I wrote all the time. I focused my mind on only things that would make me happy. One day I will tell about the whole because one of my videos that I did, living the life in pain, that is so humble and so true, but it goes so much deeper because the United States government, after nearly 30 years of working, the United States government cut me off of any insurance, period. I went for a whole year almost with no insurance, with anemia, with uh, degenerative disc disease in my neck and my back, with a bulge pressing against my spine. I have so many health problems, and the medications I was on, high blood pressure, low metabolism, just so many things. Most of the medications I was on, I was told not to stop taking them. But when you don't have any insurance and you can't afford to pay for them, how do you keep taking them? And I called my congressman's office and I asked them, I said, are y'all trying to kill me? I called the state office. I said, y'all trying to kill me? And the lady said, ma'am, we're not trying to kill you. I said, but that's what it looks like. I said, the state of Texas is not set up to help you if you stop working. If you're no longer part of that working pool and you don't have, because I had good insurance. I had insurance so good when I would go see the doctor, they would just be grinning because they knew they was gonna get paid in a couple of days. But once I became on this, once I got on disability, honey, let me tell you, I found out a world that I didn't even know existed. And I will talk about that one day because it's something people need to know and understand. If you can go to work, go to work. If you can go to work because these devils, and I call them devils, they sit up in their government offices making these decisions, but they're not thinking about the people who have paid into the tax pool. I started working when I was 11 years old. I started working out on the farm, and those people would take taxes out and send taxes in on every check they paid me. I started working in 1987. Because when you go to Social Security, you can pull up your report that shows when you started working, when you start paying taxes. And when I tell you that the government is not for you, when you stop paying into that tax pool, it is not for you if you stop paying into that tax pool. I found some scary things. But I also feel like the Lord allowed me to go through it because I have such a big mouth. And one day I'm going to sit down and pen a book about it and I'm going to put them on blast because what they did was wrong and it literally could have killed me. And I even talked to someone who worked for one of these companies that drive people back and forth to their doctor's appointment. And he told me about a young lady who was trying to apply for disability and she died during the application process. Even though they kept denying her, the woman died from her ailment. And the reason she died is because the stress and the lack of help to get her to a doctor, to get her help, to get her seen, to get her what she needed, she died. It's a nightmare out there. You okay, Miss Brown? I'm sorry. You said I've worked all my life, 27 years for the Houston School District. Your lupus almost took you out because of the grieving process of your husband after being diagnosed with lupus, and now I'm back on Infusio. Yeah, I mean, people don't understand that your health, your disease, that whatever you're suffering with, that disease, okay, on the surface, people might say, well, that I don't think that's all that bad or whatever, whatever. That's because they don't know. They don't understand what you're going through. Sometimes it's not just the disease alone. Lupus is an autoimmune disease. But what people don't understand is that it attacks your organs, it attacks your joints, it attacks so many other things in your body. And when you're dealing with the lupus itself, it's not necessarily the lupus itself that hurts you, it's all of the stuff that it does to your body. You know what I'm saying? And when I say it's not the lupus itself that hurts you, that doesn't really sound right. But at the same time, people don't understand. Well, I heard of people having lupus before, and I ain't never heard of this, that, and the other. That's because you don't know. You don't, that person didn't tell you everything they were going through. They didn't tell you everything they were going through. You just saw them walking around smiling, but you didn't see them when they were at home in pain, struggling and hurting. My friend has lupus and she is going through it. And she applied for disability and they denied her, even though she has so many health issues. They still denied her. They denied her because they can't. Well, see, that's the thing, Miss Brown, and I'm gonna tell you where the loophole is. You work for the state of Texas, basically, because when you work for the school system, it kind of falls under the state umbrella because that's where the school's money comes from. You work for the state of Texas for 27 years, technically, under that umbrella. If you don't work for at least 5 years before you apply for disability, you're going to have the hardest time in the world getting that disability. People don't understand you have to have paid in 5 years worth of payments prior to you applying for disability in order for you to get Social Security disability. If you don't qualify for Social Security disability, then you can apply for Social Security insurance. They're two completely different programs. They use the same blue book though to determine what ailment you fall under. All of this stuff, the reason I know it is because my first application, I did it myself. I went to school to get my business degree. I got my business degree, and I also went to school to get my associate's degree in legal studies. So I understand what you have to do in order to. I put all of my paperwork together. I did everything myself. But do you know that they kept denying me? And I knew they were going to deny me. Why? Because I worked as a manager for the last 6, 7 years of my life, because I have education, and because in between the time that I first was told in 2010 that I was disabled and I needed to apply for disability, in between 2010 and 2016, I hadn't seen a doctor for that purpose. I went in for checkups, or like if I felt sick or whatever, I went in for that. But I did not go in because even though my back was in pain all the time, and I was starting to experience a lot of pain in my knees and my hips, I didn't go in for that. I was just like, I'll deal with it because I already knew that the doctor told me in 2010, you need to apply for disability. I looked at him and laughed at him. I said, why would I apply for disability? He said, because you have a 3 centimeter bulge in your back. He said, it's not going to go away. This was in my L5S1. I said, I don't see myself going and applying for disability, because at the time I was in my mid, headed into my late 30s, and I was working in management, And I just didn't see them giving it to me. You know what I'm saying? I did not see them giving me my disability, not at that age, because I saw my sister go through the disability process. I even saw her go before the judges. And the way her back was shot out, her knees were shot out, and they still denied her. And she had a lawyer. They denied her. Right, right. And see, you were blessed. You were blessed, Miss Rochelle. There are so many people who don't have any of that. There are so many people who have, I mean, think about it. There are some people out there who've been on social service the majority of their life, honestly. There are some people who have worked, but it's been very sporadic because of their health issues. They didn't really know what to do or how to deal with them. So they just dealt with it the best they could. They would work some and then not work. They would work some and then not work. And they didn't, it's like when you have health issues and you don't know what to do or how to deal with those health issues, you're caught in a vicious cycle of trying to hold a job. It's not that you don't want to work, it's just you can't because you're in pain all the time. So you try to go and you try to do whatever it is that you can. And see, I was born in Texarkana, Texas. I grew up in Texarkana, Arkansas, Nashville, Arkansas, and Texarkana, Texas. It's complicated, it's convoluted, but that's kind of a little bit of my history. I grew up in the country basically. And a lot of people in the country don't have, enough education. They may have some, but not enough. Some people don't even graduate high school. And they'll go work for these nursing homes. They'll work for Church's Chicken, work for KFC, work for whatever little grocery stores, little country grocery stores. Some people worked on the farm, especially out in like places like Bradley, Arkansas, Stamps, Arkansas, Magnolia, out in the country. These people are working on the farm, so they may not be paying taxes like they should, or depending on their situation. And we got to look at that. This is like 20 some odd years ago, 30 some odd years ago. So a lot of people were working, but they weren't necessarily paying taxes. And that hard labor that they were enduring messed their body up. And then they had to apply for disability, but they kept getting denied and they get discouraged. All right, Yvette, thank you so much for stopping by, hon. I appreciate you supporting me and lifting me up. Thank you. You're awesome. Um, a lot of people, they don't have those years of work into an actual form of employment where there's taxes paid and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And they don't have like retirement. So when they go and try to apply for disability, they're in for a rude awakening. They're in for a rude awakening. That is correct. And a lot of people don't even understand that Social Security disability will not pay you just because your child has ADHD or ADD. They're not just going to pay you because your kid doesn't won't sit down and be still. That child has to exhibit some type of learning disability that's going to impede them, as well as a mental disability, before Social Security will pay out. They will not just give you disability just because your kid has ADD or ADHD. The reason I know that is because I went through it. My second child, oh my Lord. My second child is bipolar, and she has so many issues in school. She has so many issues in school. It was a it was something. But as a parent, you love your children, you try to do everything you can for them. I took her to the to the therapist, and took her to psychiatrist, psychologist. We did everything that we could do to try to make her life better, we did it. She was struggling in school, she was failing in school. The girl is brilliant, and she's a really great artist, but she was struggling. She was struggling so bad. She would get so frustrated, and she would lose control of herself, and she would just lash out. And she was a little bitty thing, I mean teeny tiny, like she's not even 5 foot tall. She's a very little petite person, but there's you could see that there was a disconnect, and she struggled terribly. And it was just by the grace of God that I looked at her and I said, this is my child, I love her. So oh, I believe that. I believe Houston has the largest school district. Oh, I believe that. My that I went through so much with her, and a lot of often people don't understand that doctors can't make determinations about children until they reach a certain age. So just because there's something not quite right with your baby when they're 5 or 6 doesn't necessarily mean that that child is automatically gonna get on disability. That they have to have proof. They have to have proof from a doctor. They have to have, like you said, those IEPs. What is it, an individual education plan, an IEP. I can't tell you the number of times we had to sit for an IEP for her because she was just struggling. And she was the type of person, she would come into a classroom and the teacher would be like, oh, she's so cute, I just don't think she's not gonna be any problem. 2 weeks later, and I'm telling you, it wouldn't be no more than 2 weeks. 2 weeks later, that teacher was calling me, can you please come to the school so we could talk about your daughter? She would give people the blues, honey. Right now, I believe part of this white hair in my head has a lot to do with that child. I love her dearly. I love her dearly, but she gave people the blues. And it was a struggle, but that's my child. What am I going to do? I'm not going to give up on her. That's my child. And so I work with the teachers. I tried to stay on her behind. I tried to do what I could. And she wasn't in special education classes. They never put her in any special education classes. They kept her in regular classes. I think she probably would have benefited at that time from a smaller classroom environment because she was the type of person she was the type of person once her day went bad, there was no recouping it. There was never recouping it. If her day was good and like she went into the day good, it stayed good, and she had a good day, it was a good day. But if she ever got pushed over that limit, her threshold, and that day turned into a bad day, there was no recouping it. The day wasn't recoupable. She would not allow it. She would turn into a holy terror. And that is the honest to God truth. She would terrorize her teachers. She would terrorize the other students. She would terrorize her brothers and sisters. She would terrorize everybody. That's what we dealt with. That's what we live with. That's what we live with. Once that scale was tipped from a day that she could manage and handle to something that was beyond her control, or she became too frustrated or too irritated or too whatever, it was non-recoupable. And I would always know what kind of day she had because I would always get phone calls. They always knew they could call me. It didn't matter where I was or what I was doing. They would call me, I would come get her. Because once her day went bad, there was no recouping the day. They would try to keep her in school because unfortunately it's just the law. The kids have to be in the seats. The school doesn't get paid like they should unless those children are present. And so right, and that's what they're supposed to do. And I'm not gonna try to make those teachers look bad. For the most part, her teachers did a wonderful job of trying to help her as much as they could. But you know, one teacher can only do so much when you've got all of these students in your classroom and you've got one or two or three that are on IEPs, and you've got one or two or three that have mental disorders, um emotional disorder, you know what I'm saying, these disorders that make it hard for them to really interact the way they should in a classroom environment, a regular classroom environment. And it's sad, but it's true, because some kids, right, some kids, no matter how much that teacher try to be of help to that student, a lot of classrooms don't even have a teacher's assistant in it anymore. And without those assistants, somebody to kind of catch up some of the slack of what that teacher can't deal with, because she's got all these other students to deal with, that's where these kids fall through the crack. And once they fall through that crack, like I said, once that scale gets tipped and their day goes from a day that they can handle into frustration, you can hang it up. That child is gonna be a holy terror from that moment until I used to say that she would be going through cycles. She would go through an up cycle where everything was good and you could deal with her and she would listen, and then she would go into that down cycle. And once she hit that down cycle, you just had to ride it out. You even with medication, you had to ride it out. You had to ride it out until she went back into another upcycle. And it was sad, but that was the life that I lived with my child. And I love her. I love that girl. I still yet love her today. And she still yet has some of the same issues today as an adult woman. It's sad, but that's what you deal with. You and it's one of the things I was telling her sister, I said, you know, we need to support her, because the reality is, if she could change her life and become someone else, she would. I can guarantee you she would. I said, she's struggling in her own way. We can't see it, but it's true. She's struggling. I said, but what we have to do is pray for her and love her, because the reality is we're not going through what she's going through. We don't see what she's going through in her mind. We don't feel the way she feels. So there's no way for us to adequately understand or comprehend what she's dealing with. And because we can't see it, because we can't comprehend it, and because we don't know what it is, we don't know how to deal with it, you can't just point the finger at her and not love her through her mess, basically. You said they have been reclassified, but they still have them. They now have to have college hours to be hired. I think it's 60 college hours. Yeah, yeah. And you know, I'm gonna tell you something. I really think that, you know, I understand. What I don't understand is why the government is cutting from education like they are, because all of that money that they're stripping away from education, those are the kids who are going to rise up and be running the country one day. I think it might be a good idea to invest in their future so that we don't have monsters running our country. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what they're thinking. I do know what they're thinking, but I'm not even gonna get into on that topic. I'm not gonna get on that today. I'm in a good mood, and if I start talking about the government, I'm gonna end up getting mad. Because that what they doing is ridiculous. It's crazy. But yeah, it's I one of the things I said I will always do, I will always keep praying and asking God to give me strength, because a lot of the stuff that we have to deal with on a just an everyday level, it's hard to get through a day if you don't have something to believe in, something to a vine to attach yourself to. If you don't have some type of hope, because between health problems and the way the world is going and the problems that sometimes our children face, and just there's so many different things going on that it would be easy to get depressed and just want to give up. But I said to myself, you know what, God, long as you keep me living and breathing, I'm gonna keep fighting. I'm not giving up. Nope. And that's true. If a person has 60 college hours, you might well go ahead and go and get that master's. Go on and get the master's. You're already almost there, honestly. I mean, I tell people, I told my daughter, I said, don't stop at your bachelor's. I told her, I said, do it until you increments. That way, at 2 years, you have an associate's. At 4 years, you have a bachelor's. At 6, you have a master's. I said, because the reality of life is this: your life is only going to be what you make it. Your life is only going to be what you make it. Now you can sit back and you can listen to these people who tell you that we can't accomplish anything and the system is rigged and education is rigged, everything is rigged. And you'll look at those people and you'll see they're never accomplishing anything. Don't listen to somebody who's doing worse than you. Or even I would be careful about listening to people who are on the same level as you. If they're not doing better than you, what do they have to offer you? I told her, I said, you need to look at people who are successful. Look at them and see what they did. Often, people who are successful have failed numerous times to become successful. They just decided they weren't going to give up. And so I told her, I said, even with me going through the issues that I've gone through with my health, the reason I can't give up is because I see something else in the distance in front of me. I'm not just looking at today. Well, that's the only problem with, and I couldn't, me myself, I wouldn't be able to work for the school district because my health is so bad. I have so many problems with I have issues with my blood. Sometimes my blood level will just plummet. And I actually I went through Texas Works. They have like this program for people who are on disability who's trying to go back to work, and they actually kind of try to link you up to jobs that'll take into consideration your disabilities. When they learn that I have such brittle issues with my with I had to have several transfusions last year. When they found that out, they were like, nope. No. And I'm at a severe fall risk. I have to use a walking aid because right now, um, sometimes my joints get so aggravated, I have a hard time walking. And with the blood issues, coupled with the anemia issues, coupled with the problem of falling, coupled with one of the medications that I take, if I were to fall and cut myself or anything like that, I would be in trouble. And so most people are not willing to work with me. That's the reason why I said, I had no desire to, you know, become a YouTuber. It's not that I didn't have a desire, I just never even thought of it. But when the opportunity presented itself, I decided, you know what, I'll go ahead and give it a try because I can't work in a traditional setting anymore. So let me see what I can do in a non-traditional setting. Thanks so much for Rochelle. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you, hon. I'll see you next time. Oh boy, I have enjoyed myself today. I have enjoyed myself. Oh Lord, and I wasn't even planning on being on this long. But I thank the Lord for being God. Okay, so at that 2 hour mark, I'm gonna go ahead and jump off. I can't. I had no intention of being online this long. Oh Lord, I had no intention of being online this long. Oh my goodness. But I enjoyed myself. I'm not even gonna lie. I enjoyed myself. Well, it looks like it's almost that time for me to get off. I want to say thank you to everybody who joined my live today. I certainly appreciate y'all for visiting with me. Y'all have been awesome. And I will see you next time. Thanks so much. See you later, guys. Bye.